Also, I'd like to extend a sincere thank you to the staff of the Kansas City Public School District and Lincoln Preparatory Academy for welcoming us here and allowing us to briefly interrupt your lesson plan for today. And let us hear it for the dedication and the support of our teachers and staff. Give them a big round of applause. And thank you for being here today, helping us to make this event possible. Today, we will present the family with an honorary postpartum diploma in honor that was delayed, but never denied. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II as a reflection on the turning point in global history. We must also center and recognize the names of all the individuals that gone before us. We're gathered here to say his name loudly and proudly. Private First Class Willie F. James Jr., United States Army Medal of Honor recipient, a son of Kansas City, a son of Lincoln High School. I first learned about PFC James almost 2 decades ago. I had seen his Medal of Honor besides his name, but the question that gripped me was, who was he? What life did he live before he enlisted into the United States Army? What kind of man did he seek to become? He and his sister, Elizabeth Baldwin, who is here with us today at 104 years old. His sister saw this school rise from a dream of a community that refused to be ignored. They saw Lincoln being built in 1936, rising from accuracy, protest, editorial, and determination. They saw the castle on the hill, not just a building, but a symbol of pride and resistance, and an opportunity. I started my research just off topic a little bit. When I was researching PFC James's history, I ran across an individual that enlisted in World War II at 12 years old. 12 years old, he spent 2 years. He was awarded the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart, and spent 2 times time in jail. In that 2-year period, they discharged him when he was 14. So in the research of PFC James, I found something powerful, a letter written by a young black cafeteria worker in Wichita, Kansas in 1941. His name was James Thompson, and his words was printed in the Pittsburgh Courier, which launched the Double V campaign, victory over fascism abroad and victory over racism at home. He asked the question, should I sacrifice my life to live half American? That question haunted me because it was the same one men like PFC James must have asked themselves. Volunteering to serve, knowing full well this country still saw them as second-class citizens. Historian Matthew Dunbar wrote a powerful book entitled Half of America. It revealed the dual battle fought by black African Americans during World War II, the fight against fascism abroad and the fight against racism at home. James' story is a living example of the Double V campaign. Victory over the enemy overseas, victory of injustice at home. Think about it, the courage it took for this young black man in 1941 to put on the uniform of a segregated army, to risk everything for this country that would not yet let him sit at certain lunch counters, live in certain neighborhoods, or attend certain universities. Thinking about the faith that it took to believe in an ideal of America even when reality felt short. That kind of faith, that kind of sacrifice demand that we not only remember his name, but also carry forward the unfinished mission to ensure that no American is ever treated as half of American. And yet, he volunteered with little combat training. He chose to go to the front line in 1945 when the army was depleted of infantrymen. And in the hills of Germany, during an assault on a heavy defended enemy position, PFC James exposed himself to machine gun fire, not once, not twice, but repeatedly, directing fire, rescuing wounded comrades, and securing the mission to be successful. He gave his life so others might live. And the decades of his bravery was unrecognized. It was not until 1997, over 50 years later, that the President of the United States, Bill Clinton, presented the widow with the Medal of Honor. And we have the niece of the widow right here today that was at the White House ceremony. We must ask ourselves, why did it take so long? The answer is simple, but hard. Racism. That's why this moment, this diploma, this ceremony, this story matters. Because honoring PFC James will tell the whole story of America, not just of the battlefields in Europe, but in classrooms in Kansas City of segregation, sacrifice, and the unshakable pursuit of dignity. And let us remember, he is not alone. Medgar Evers, another World War II African-American veteran, fought for democracy overseas and in America. After earning 2 Bronze Stars, Edwards returned to Mississippi and became a prominent civil rights leader. He celebrated his 21st birthday in 1946 by leading a group of African-American veterans who attempted to register to vote in Decatur, Georgia, only to be turned away by a white mob. Edwards was one of the few black veterans that attended Alcorn A&M College on a GI Bill and earned a degree in business administration. He briefly sold insurance before becoming the NAACP First Field Secretary in Mississippi in 1954. Evers, along with fellow World War II veteran Minner Moore and NAACP Southeast Regional Director Ruby Hurley, investigated the murder of 14-year-old Emmett Till in 1955. In 1962, Evers helped U.S. Air Force veteran James Meredith integrate the University of Mississippi. When Meredith tried to register for classes, a white mob threatened him on the night of June 11, 1963. Evers was attending a meeting at a local church, watching President John F. Kennedy on TV telling the nation that the civil rights was primary, a moral issue, and it should be possible for every American to enjoy the privilege of being American without regard to his race or color. Just after midnight, Edwards was pulling into his driveway and was struck by a bullet of a high-powered rifle fired by a gunman hidden in the bushes. When Merle and his children heard the gunfire, they rushed out and found Megger in a pool of blood. Within hours, he was gone. His story, along with PFC James, highlight the contribution of African American veterans to the fight for equality and justice. Today, America continues to grapple with the legacy of World War II and ongoing struggle of racial justice. What kind of faith, what kind of sacrifice demand that we not only remember his name, but also carry forward his unfinished mission to ensure that no American is ever treated as half of American. The legacy of Lincoln High School, it is no accident that PFC James did not graduate from high school. This school has always been more than a school. It has been a pillar of the African American excellence, a place where students were taught not only algebra lecture, but also self-worth and pride in their heritage. Lincoln and the school district teachers, many of whom could be teach at a university, but not for segregation, pride themselves to instill in students the excellent, like graduates from Lincoln High School, musicians like Charlie Parker, advocacies like Lucy Bedford, and public service who reshaped this city. Today, Lincoln Preparatory Academy continues that proud tradition as one of the finest academic institutes in the nation. You, the students, are heirs to this legacy. You are walking in the same streets as PFC James. You are carrying the same responsibility to lead, to serve, to make a difference. Veterans Day is not simply about thanking those who serve. It's about remembering what they served for. Veterans like PFC James, Medgar Evers, Jackie Robinson did not fight for parades or medals. They fought for something larger than themselves, for the hope of freedom, for the safety of their family, for the belief that America could live up to its promise. Today, we honor all veterans. We also recognize their sacrifice to a call of action. We're calling for action. They remind us that service does not end when the uniform comes off. Service carries into the community, into our schools, into our families, and into our lives. This is why telling the stories of heroes like PFC James is so critical. When history is ignored, injustice repeats itself. When names are forgotten, the lessons are not taught. Activists and scholars remind us preserving African American history is not an option. It is essential to our democracy and our future and our souls. Students, I want you to hear me clearly. You are the next guardians of history. The stories that we tell about the past shape the choices we make in the present. If you tell the right stories, we can see clearly there are some people who claim that the United States is a homeland solely for the descendants of European settlers, framing it as their birthright and their heritage, omitting the contribution of non-European groups, including enslaved Africans and indigenous people. This is not a new threat, but an old one. If you tell the right stories, you can understand the movement for racial justice today as part of a struggle that stretches back to the beaches of Normandy and the streets of Kansas City. Ignorance is not a luxury we can afford. Truth is our weapon, and memories is our shield. World War II has been seen as, in America, as a good war, a noble fight against a unique, wicked regime. But while evil of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi government was unquestionable, America went into and came out of the war with staunch different ideas about why the war was fought, who served was valuable, and who should enjoy freedom after the war. In telling the story of World War II from the African American perspective, half of America continues to struggle over the war's memory and the end of 80 years ago, and continues to persist today. James Baldwin once wrote, "History is not the past, history is the present." We carry it with us today. PFC James carried the history of Lincoln High School, the hopes of his family, and the dreams of his communities onto the battlefield. He carried them until his final breath. Now is our turn to carry it forward. Students, veterans, family, Kansas City community, let us honor his sacrifice by living a life of service, courage, and truth. Let us commit to building America where no one is treated as half of America. In closing, a few days ago, I was notified by the Dutch public news organization requesting clarification concerning a recent removal of a plaque honoring African American soldiers who served against the Nazi Germany in Europe. This plaque was taken down from the U.S. military cemetery in the Netherlands. The Kansas City community will express a strong disapproval regarding the removal of this plaque for a Medal of Honor recipient, PFC James. There are 174 African American soldiers either buried or immortalized at the site in the Netherlands. The country was officially liberated from the Nazi occupation in May of 1945, 5 years after the Germans invaded. PFC James was interned at that cemetery on April 8th, 1945. Let us never forget freedom is not free. It is earned again and again by those willing to give their all. The deliberate exclusion or suppression of African American heroes in history from our classroom is not acceptable. It is an unlawful act that undermines the very principle on which this nation is founded. I want to be clear, along with the Kansas City community, we will not comply with any attempts to erase or silence the contribution of African Americans to the United States. To deny students the truth about the nation history is profound disrespect to the American people, especially to the men and women of all races who fought and bled and died to defend the Constitution and protect the freedom that it guarantees. Honoring the service, the sacrifice, and the achievement of African Americans is not an option. It is a patriotic duty and an educational responsibility. We will continue to teach, learn, and preserve this history because it belongs to all of us. Yeah. And because of the integrity of our nation depends on it. God bless our veterans, and God bless this school, and God bless the United States.